Proclaim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Uhyikum bitahiyyatil Islam, tahiyyatil ahli jannah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in amma ba'du. Alhamdulillah, fi hadal yawm nastati an nastami' fi barnamis yakni webinar wa insyaallah nufadilukum ila jami'il muhadirin wa mustami'in fi hadzal liqa'at al-qayyimah wa dhahabiyah insyaallah taala. Honorable guest lecturer and students, I would like to explain a bit on today web seminar. There will be 4 presentations on different topics, which I will bring excitement to us as listening. Insyaallah indana arba'ah muqaddimin wal khubara, yakni min qismi syariah wa qismi al-farmasi insyaallah sayulqina fi hadzal yaum. Wa inna muddatat taqdim likulli muqaddimin salasina daqiqah wa tazkir wa tanbih 5 daqaiq qabla nihayah. Each presenter will be given 30 minutes to deliver their presentation, and I will be the one who remain 5 minutes before the presentation end. Ladies and gentlemen, without any delay, ayyuhal mahdirun wa ayyuhal mustami'un al-kurama, wa qabla bidayah insyaallah na sa'arifukum yakni al-muqaddim al-awwal Profesor Dr. Amir Hussein, Al-Ustadz Ad-Doktor Amir Hussein Muhammad Nur, yakni muhadir fi kulliyati asy-syariah wal qanun min Jami'atil Ulum Al-Islamiyah Al-Malaysia, yakni professor in Faculty of Sharia and Law, University Sains Islam Malaysia. Academic qualification, professor has PhD from PhD in Islamic Studies from University of Edinburgh, United Kingdom, and Master from University of London, Department of Law or Faculty of Law, and Bachelor from University Malaya in Syariah. Wa insyaallah fi hadzal waqt sanufadilukum al-fadil al-karim al-ustadz ad-doktor Muhammad Amir Hussein Muhammad Nur ayuqaddimu yakni warakatuhum ma yata'allaqu bi al-fatwa fi luqahi COVID-19. We cordially invite Honorable Deputy Director of IFFAH, Professor Dr. Amir Hussein Muhammad Nur, to start our first slot entitled Fatwa on COVID-19 vaccine. Fa'alahi tafadhal mashkura.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you to my colleague Dr. Setiawan Gunardi. Greeting to Honorable Prof. Irwan Muhammad Subri, Director of Institute Fatwa and Halal USIM. Honorable Professor Junaidi Khabib, Dean Faculty of Pharmacy, University Airlangga. Also to Associate Professor Dr. Waidah Ismail, Director of Fatwa and Halal in Pharmaceutical webinar. Organizing Committee from IFFAH and University Airlangga. Professors, panel speakers, respected panel speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, wa bihi nasta'in, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah, وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم وله. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. Thank you very much to the moderator. I think first and foremost, we praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and thankful to him because we are very fortunate to be here and able to participate in this webinar, very important webinar, to discuss several important topics which is related to COVID-19 that we face today. Although the COVID infection is still high, but we managed to be here and together in discussing, as I mentioned before, important topics which is related to our life today. And we are very fortunate because a lot of people, and some of them our relatives and friends, have fallen victim and died due to the COVID-19. Alhamdulillah, thumma alhamdulillah. So inshallah, my topic of discussion today is fatwa on COVID-19. It is very important to us to know the status of COVID-19 from the perspective of from the Islamic perspective, especially from the angle of fatwa. Let me share to you a few features relating to vaccine on COVID-19, which if we look at here, RNA vaccine, biggest experiment in human history. So if we go back when the COVID-19 were discovered in Wuhan 2019, a lot of issues has been debated and discussed in our society throughout the world. Okay, at the beginning, I think we can see the issue whether the COVID-19 is true, is really exists, or it is mere a hoax. And it's still, until today, some people still not believe the existence of COVID-19. That's why they rejected and refused to take COVID-19 vaccine. Then come to the second issue. How to tackle the spreading of this virus, whether to wear a mask or not, or there were other ways to combat the virus. Okay, then can come to the third issue of vaccine, whether it is safe or not, or whether it is okay to the Muslim or non-Muslim. Then raise the question of halal or non-halal. Okay, so the new world order is the real virus. So this is, I would consider it as anti-vaccine movement, which is, I think, is very aggressive, promoting the taking of vaccine, which to them is harmful and to the health and body. Okay, even to the extent that some of them willing to pay in Malaysia. It is a real situation happen, a real incident happen, then they are willing to pay quite high amount of money to the clinic which willing to issue a vaccine certificate, because they know that vaccine certificate is very important later of the day, because whatever things that they want to do in their life now requires a vaccine certificate if they want to go to the mall, to the shop, and even to the clinic, to the school. So they have to show the vaccine certificate, but they don't want to take the vaccine. Okay, that's why they are willing to pay the clinic just to get a vaccine certificate. To me, it is very disappointing to hear that among those who reject the vaccine is among the Muslim scholars. Okay, so I've seen a lot of YouTube video where some of the Muslim scholars who clearly rejected the taking of the COVID-19 vaccine. So it is very unfortunate because to me, there is no other solution at this particular time except we have to take a vaccine in order to alleviate or to deal with the COVID-19 virus. So this is some information. By end of the October, Malaysia vaccine program estimating that 80% of adult population have completed their 2 vaccines. New study shows that nearly 60% of adult population against the COVID-19 vaccine in Malaysia. So it is very unfortunate to have this kind of figure when we want to face the COVID-19 in our society nowadays. So this is the picture of Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Sallin, the Penang Mufti, which he has to deal with those who rejected the COVID-19 vaccine. So he stated that don't be influenced by the vaccine movement COVID-19. Okay, don't be influenced by anti-vaccine movement rejecting COVID-19 vaccine. Okay, so this is the real situation in our society, whether it is in Malaysia and in Indonesia. When deals with the COVID-19 vaccine, there is an anxiety, fears, distrust, as well as rejection. The issue of halal and haram is among the issue raised related to vaccine. So before I discuss further, I would like to touch on the fatwa in Malaysia, a little bit background on the fatwa in Malaysia, because to me it is a bit different, a bit unique, the administration and the issuance of fatwa in Malaysia compared to administration of fatwa in other Muslim countries. So the word fatwa originated from the term IFFAH, to decide, and a point of law, and it can simply be defined as a ruling on a point of Islamic law which is to be issued by a recognized authority. So the important word is a recognized authority, must be backed by the recognized authority, endorsed by maybe the government. So thus the term fatwa could be defined as a formal Islamic legal opinion issued by a jurist consult, yani mufti, in response to questions submitted to him by private individual or judges. But as I said before, in Malaysia, fatwa needs to fulfill certain conditions as mentioned in Section 48, Administration of Religion of Islam, State of Selangor, Enactment 2003. As you know, the administration of religion in Malaysia is under the jurisdiction of the state. So that's why I quote here the section, the important section 48 regarding the procedure of issuing fatwa. So these are important element. Procedure must be fulfilled before a fatwa can be issued. I'm not going to read all the section here, but I would like to pick up 2-3 sections which I think important to be highlighted here. So maybe important section which is important is subsection 3. Okay. After a fatwa is prepared by the fatwa committee, the mufti shall, on behalf and the name of the fatwa committee, submit the fatwa prepared to the majlis. So important one is a fatwa committee, meaning that the fatwa must be issued by the committee appointed by the at the state level by the sultan, and the mufti himself cannot, although he's carry a name of mufti, but it cannot issue a fatwa. It must be issued by the fatwa committee, or committee of fatwa consists of some state 14 members of them, some 11, some 3. So it's depend on the state itself. Then it has to submit the fatwa prepared to the majlis. So that's one procedure must be followed by the Department of Mufti. So number 4 is also important. The majlis may, after deliberating upon the fatwa, make a recommendation to His Royal Highness the Sultan for his assent for the publication of the fatwa in the Gazette. So here you need to get a recommendation and what we call a sanction from His Royal Highness the Sultan of, in this case, is Sultan of Selangor. Then the third important thing is the fatwa must be publicized in the Gazette, or we can say in the subsection 9, if you can see, any statement made by the fatwa committee shall not be taken to be a fatwa unless such statement is published in the Gazette in accordance with the subsection 6. So that's the important part of fatwa in Malaysia. You have to follow the certain procedure and things that you must make sure before any fatwa become gazetted and enforced as a law. So this section 48.9, any statement made by the fatwa committee shall not be taken to be a fatwa unless such statement is published in the Gazette in accordance with the section 6 that I read before. So this is the Administration of Religion of Islam State of Selangor Enactment 2003. It's become a very important section relating to fatwa. For example, section 44, appointment of mufti and deputy mufti. Section 45, function of the mufti. 46, fatwa committee. 47, power of the fatwa committee to prepare a fatwa. Section 48, procedure. As I discussed before, a procedure in making a fatwa. 49, a fatwa published in the Gazette is binding. So it is also very important. Fatwa cannot be a legally binding fatwa if not being gazetted in the media. Okay, so there's the requirement of the fatwa under the Administration of the Religion of Islam State of Selangor Enactment 2003. Then section 51, fatwa is related to matter of national interest, adoption of advice and recommendation of National Fatwa Committee, request for opinion of Fatwa Committee and Qaul Mu'tamad to be followed. So this as I mentioned before, okay, section 49, a fatwa published in the Gazette is binding. Is very important because the Gazette and ungazette fatwa has legal implication, especially to the gazetted fatwa. Okay, Upon its publication in the Gazette, a fatwa shall be binding on every Muslim in the state of Selangor as a dictate of his religion, and it shall be his religious duty to abide by and uphold the fatwa unless he is permitted by Hukum Syara to depart from the fatwa in matters of personal observance. And number 2, a fatwa shall be recognized by all courts in the state of Selangor of all matters laid down therein. Okay, so the implication of gazetted fatwa is anybody or anyone who contradict or against the said fatwa or any fatwa, he is liable to be prosecuted in the Mahkamah Syariah in that particular state, which is different from ungazetted fatwa. It is not a legal binding thing, because if you against the ungazetted fatwa, if you contradict your action, contradict to the ungazetted fatwa, you are not liable to be prosecuted in Mahkamah Syariah. So it is very important that to differentiate between the gazetted fatwa and ungazetted fatwa. So in conclusion, I would say that fatwa in Malaysia can be divided into two, namely gazetted fatwa and fatwa that are not gazetted. Gazetted fatwa have the binding force of law. Anyone who violates a fatwa decision can be prosecuted in a Sharia court. However, the fatwa that is not gazetted was the opposite, meaning anyone who violates the fatwa cannot be prosecuted. Then we discussed also a little bit on vaccine itself. So I'm not an expert in this field, but I just touch a little bit to give an overview on the vaccine where the fatwa will be discussed on it. So what is a vaccine? A vaccine contains antigen that is using a part or whole of virus or bacteria, either killed or inactivated. It is used to induce our body's immune system to develop protective immunity against specific diseases. Today, most vaccines are in combination to ease the administration process. Okay? Combination vaccines are multiple vaccines combined into a single injection so that children get protection from multiple diseases in one shot, hence making administration less painful and more convenient, from the Ministry of Health Malaysia. So from quoting from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention USA, a product that stimulates a person's system to produce immunity to a specific disease, protecting the person from that disease. Vaccines are usually administered through needle injection, but can also be administered by mouth or spray into the nose. So the first issue we want to discuss is COVID-19 vaccine is halal. Is COVID-19 vaccine halal? This also the concern of the Muslim community when the vaccination program launched by the Malaysian government, or maybe also the Indonesian government. Concern over use of pork products. So this also is a real situation faced by the Muslim communities. So touch a little bit on halal. So according to Malaysian standard, halal is matters that are lawful and permitted in Islam based on the Sharia law and fatwa. So according to MS 2424 and 2019, halal pharmaceutical gender requirement first revision. This Malaysian standard describes the general guidelines in the manufacturing and handling of halal pharmaceutical. It serves as a basic requirement for halal pharmaceutical in Malaysia. So relating to vaccine, it's also has to follow the Malaysian standard. when we want to regard that particular vaccine is halal. Okay. What is halal pharmaceutical? Pharmaceutical product that contain ingredients permitted under the Sharia law and fatwa, which do not contain any parts or products, animal that are non-halal, or any parts or products of animal which are not slaughtered according to Sharia law and fatwa. B, do not contain najis according to Sharia and fatwa. And C, safe and efficacious for human use according to prescribed dosage of quality and hygiene. Not prepared, processed, or manufactured using equipment contaminated with najis according to Sharia and law. And also do not contain any human parts or its derivatives that are not permitted by Sharia law and fatwa. During the preparation, processing, handling, packaging, storage, and distribution, the halal pharmaceutical products are physically segregated from any other pharmaceutical product that do not meet the requirements stated in items A, B, C, D, or E, or any other items that have been decreed as non-halal and najis by Sharia law and fatwa. So among the regulators concerned about pharmaceutical items is the quality, the second one is safety, 3 is efficacy. So the quality, and we discussed about quality, it meets specs for intended use. The second one is safety, limits for heavy metals and microbial counts, no prohibited ingredients, and ADR is monitored. And number 3, efficacy and proven clinically. So this is the requirement of the regulators on whether the COVID-19 vaccine is can be given to the community or not. This is the decision made by the Muzakarah committee at the national level on the vaccine COVID-19 COVID-19 vaccine in Malaysia. So the 10th special meeting of the MKI, Majlis Kebangsaan Islam, Muzakarah Committee, convened on 3 December 2020 has decided a resolution that Islamic law on the use of Islamic COVID-19 vaccine is permissible and it must be taken by the group designated by the government of Malaysia. So it is almost ijma among the mufti in Malaysia to decide the permissibility of COVID-19 vaccine to be used in the society and to the people of Malaysia. This I quote from the Indonesian Council of Ulama. AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine is haram but permissible due to urgent situation, although this issue crop up in Indonesia. But in Malaysia, it seems to me that there is no issue halal or haram hotly debated in our society. So it is very fortunate, but still I think the Indonesian committee has allowed the use of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine, although it is haram, but due to the urgent situation, it is permissible to be taken by the Muslim community. So when we look at the fatwa regarding COVID-19 vaccine, we can divide the ruling on the vaccine itself into 3. The first one is vaccine that contains permissible and beneficial content, undoubtedly the usage of this type of vaccine is permissible when the content is permissible and beneficial in terms of its contents. The second one is vaccine that contains permissible content. However, it could do more harm than good to the body, or it is unbeneficial to begin with. This type of vaccine is prohibited, or we are prohibited to harm ourselves through our food, drinks, medicine, and others. And the third category is vaccine that contains prohibited contents or is najis, impure originally, but have been treated with chemical that changes the name and characteristic of it through the process of istihala, the process of changing to the permissible, and have beneficial effects. The usage of this type of vaccine is permissible. So the reason is the transformation process that results in the change of its name and characteristics changes its ruling along with it. So, this is reasons and basis of ruling made by the Fatwa committee in Malaysia and I think all over the world regarding the issue of vaccine COVID-19. Okay, so the first one is based on maqasid Sharia and fiqh, which we know that maqasid in Islam, one of them is hibzun nafs, which is really close to the issue of vaccine and related to the issue of vaccine. We are urging to protect and maintain our life through the effort of eating, drinking, and punishing anyone that endangers life. Islam also prohibits any acts that would lead to harming of life. Among the maqasid regarding the issue of vaccine is first, the legal maxim used is exigent or dire situation permits the prohibited. Ad-darar yuzal, the damage is removed. In relation to vaccine issues, it should be taken to eliminate the harm that is caused by the COVID-19. So we have to take the vaccine in order to,
5 menit lagi.
Okay. In order to eliminate the cause made by the COVID-19. The second is exigent situation is assessed according to its proportion. Ad-darurah tuqaddar biqadariha. Exigent situation is according to the proportion or magnitude of it relating to the issue of vaccine. Then we should only administer the vaccine only according to the need of the situation, overcoming the exigent situation. Then the third one is the exigent situation made the impermissible permissible. Ad-darurah tubihu al-mahdurat. The application of this legal maxim is, for example, the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine is considered haram by the MUI, but it is permissible due to urgent situation. The third one is when two mafsada or harm collide, then the less harmful is chosen. This is in accordance with the legal maxim, and adnal mafsadatain yurtakabu min ajli daf'ul a'lahuma idha kana labudda min muwafaqati ihdahuma. Indeed, the less harmful between the two mafsada is chosen to prevent a greater harm when one of the two must be chosen. So in the case of vaccine COVID-19, even if this intake cause harm, such as fever, colds, and others, but it is considered a small harm, therefore it is permissible to take it in order to avoid greater harm, which is death. The second is based on the verse of the Quran, وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى التَّهْلُكَةِ, and do not throw yourself into destruction with your own hands. This confirms the rule established in the Sharia to prevent harm and harm in all of its form, which is the text of a prophetic hadith on the authority of Ibn Abbas, who said, the Messenger of God, may God's prayer and peace be upon him, said, there is neither harm nor no harm. And other narration, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, take medication, for God Almighty did not create a disease without pointing a remedy for it, except for one disease, old age, narrated by Abu Dawud. So this hadith encourages us to seek medicine to treat disease. For disease caused by the COVID-19 virus, then a vaccine is the answer. So this is a statement by the Mufti Federal Territory on the permissibility of vaccine COVID-19. This decision, according to him, is in line with the evidence as the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which mean do not intentionally put yourself in danger of destruction. La tulqu bi aydikum ila tahluka. So if you do not take the vaccine, then you are exposing yourself to the harm and destruction. So this in line with the meaning of this verse in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 195. So and others hadith which I don't want to read it to you. So fatwa by Majlis Ulama Indonesia (MUI) on vaccine also quotes similar legal maxim verse from Al-Quran and also multiple hadiths on the need to tackle the issue of disease in our society. So I'm not going to read. I don't have enough time. The reminder has been given by the moderator. So in conclusion, I would say the fatwa on the permissibility of COVID-19, which has been issued by several authoritative fatwa bodies around the world, are based on the method of authentic fatwas by referring to the Quran, Hadith, and other supporting dalil, as well as the views of Islamic scholars. So therefore, I urge the Muslim community as a whole to adopt and accept the fatwa on the COVID-19 without any hesitation. So with that, I end my presentation. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Thank you very much.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Syukran kasiran li Fadilah Al-Ustadz Al-Duktur Amir Hussein ala taqdim al-qayyim. Wa yumkinu an akhud qalilan binisbati ila istinbat, yani faqat yani lukahu COVID-19 labudda min yani i'timad ala yani ala madha ala hukumati wa kadzalika inna al-fatwa labudda min yani yatba ila al-qanun al-mawjud fi al-balad wa fi salis yani istikhdamu luqah COVID-19 yani alal asasi qaidil fiqhiyah yani ad-darurah yani. Okay. Fact istinbat ya, istinbat fi Professor Dr. Amir Hussein, vaccine COVID-19 must be certified. And second, fatwa also according to the Akta 48, yakni administration the religion of Islam, State of Selangor, enactment 2003, and the using vaccine COVID-19 based on qaidil fiqhiyah, yakni is ad-darurah. Okay, let's inshallah we go to the second speaker. Alhamdulillah, we have a young lecturer, yakni Professor Dr. Muhammad Zulkhairi bin Muhammad Rani. Dr. Zulkhairi is an associate professor in public health medicine at the University Saint Islam Malaysia. He graduated with the Bachelor of Medicine and Surgery from International Islamic University Malaysia (UM) and then obtained his specialist qualification in public health medicine from universities in Malaysia in 2010. وعنده يعني خبراء كثيرا يعني عنده يعني he has many experience in pharmaceutical and also in medicine ya in atibak tabib هكذا. طيب ladies and gentlemen, so let us welcome our second speaker from Faculty of Medicine and Health Science USIM, Honorable Professor Madya Dr. Muhammad Zulkhairi. Muhammad Rani, public health specialist, to continue with his presentation entitled COVID-19 vaccine hesitant among Malaysia is halal status is one of the issues. Fa'alahi tafadhal mashkura. With all due respect, please welcome. Tafadhal ya Ustaz, Doktor.
Alhamdulillah, thank you very much, Dr. Setiawan, moderator, honorable guests, lecturers, and participants of this seminar. Today I'll be talking about the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy among Malaysians. Its halal status is one of the issue. All right, before I begin, I'd like to share my slide. All right. Can you see my slide?
Okay, bro.
Is it full screen?
No. You can open Doctor.
Not full screen.
Okay.
Full screen.
Okay, boleh Dokter.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah. My presentation today is on the COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy among Malaysians. أتكلم اليوم بالموضوع COVID-19 vaccine among Malaysian, يعني vaccine COVID-19, is it refused or is it accepted by the Malaysian? It is based on my research and some other research as well. So can I continue? Okay. Unlike other medicine, vaccine work both individual and community levels, while no vaccine is guaranteed to be 100% effective when utilized widely in the communities. Some vaccines, preventable illnesses may be eliminated, and others can be eradicated entirely. And for community level immunity to be established and sustained, high vaccination uptake is needed, and it is unique to each vaccine preventable diseases. Okay, so all right. It is one of the most effective way to prevent diseases as compared to we treat disease. A vaccine is to prevent disease, is to prevent disease from progressing. Means that it is used before the onset of the disease, and it helps for the patient or for the affected person not progressing to a more critical stage. That's why in Malaysia or in other parts of the world, we can see that even though a person who had been vaccinated with COVID-19 vaccine still being infected by COVID-19. the data supporting immunization advantage are substantial. It is it had saved large amount of individual, large groups of person from many diseases. And in our country, the Malaysian immunization program was introduced in the early 1950s, right? So the Malaysian National Immunization Program was designed based on WHO expanded program on immunization, and this expanded program for immunization recommends that all countries immunize against at least 6 childhood diseases. However, our program has expanded its protection against 13 major childhood diseases. This is how the vaccine program starts. It is not only we give vaccine. Vaccines is highly debated only when COVID-19 starts. But before this, parents do send their children to get vaccinated. Okay, it's not a new thing. As we can see here, this is the list of immunization in Malaysia that was introduced in stages. In stages to give immunity to various diseases. The program had effectively proven saving lives and provide protection against diseases. If you can see here, smallpox was introduced in early 1950s. Okay, before Malaysia was formed. Okay, Malaysia was formed in 1963, and independence was in 1957. Right, so this is in early 50s by the British. Yeah, and you can see diphtheria, tetanus started later, and we add in the Haemophilus influenza, the Haemophilus influenza, the BCGs, the measles, the rubella, the hepatitis, and even the HPV, the human papilloma virus. It is to protect against cervical cancer among women. Okay, so this is the immunization program for children. It is the latest one, effective from November 2020. You can see here that BCG was given at birth, hepatitis B was given at birth, and followed by diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, polio, hepatitis, and so on, and even tetanus given as a booster when they entered secondary school. So at birth, usually given at the place of birth, and followed by given at the health clinic. Well, it can be a government health clinic for free, and you can also the parents can bring the children to go to private clinics. They have to pay, but majority of parents did bring their children to get vaccinated, even though if you ask the parents, whether they know or not the vaccine, the type of vaccine given, or the function of the vaccine, or the content of the vaccine, I'm sure many of them, if not most, many of them will say they don't know, but they still bring the children. They still want their children to be protected. Okay, they because they are minors, they are below 18. The parents decided to bring and to protect the children. They do not want they love their children very much, and they do not want their children to be affected or to be infected. by these diseases. And later on, when the children enters standard 1 or even in the kindergarten, okay, the school authorities ask for this certificate of vaccine, this thing for the record, and some anti-vaccines they do opt for other methods of schooling. Some of them probably sent to private school, which I'm a little bit doubt whether many private school, most of the private schools, so they are very strict about this. They are very strict about the vaccination status among children. And some of them opt for homeschooling. That's why you can see this practice had been the practice, okay, the vaccination, and some of the parents refused to be vaccinated, had been practiced way before COVID-19. Okay, this is the WHO and UNICEF estimates on immunization coverage. This is in 2019. As you can see here, the coverage is almost 100%. Okay, the BCG, the diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, the polio, and hepatitis, and all of these vaccines coverage is almost 100%. This should that parents, children to be vaccinated, and this is a good sign. While practice is good, and the prevalence of immunization coverage is high, a study done by Azizi et al., published in 2017, shown that the prevalence of vaccine hesitancy among Malaysian parents. They interviewed the parents and asked them whether they want to, or they practice vaccination or not on their children. The result was about 11.6%. This is based on surveys. Okay, surveys result. At the time of survey, it may be correct, but the parents can change their mind afterwards and allow their children to be vaccinated. And among the results, pregnant mothers expecting their first child were more vaccine hesitant, means that they are unsure about the vaccine. They do not, probably the answer at that time was no. And internet, like internet was their main source of information on vaccination. It is not, they rely information from the internet. As you can see, or as we understand, internet, we can put many things on the internet, and on the internet we chose what we want. If we chose bad things, of course, we will get the bad things. If we choose to use it for to seek correct information from relevant authorities, or from the government, or from good research, or from a journal that is highly rated, peer-reviewed academic journals, you get the correct information. But if it is from tabloid, or from the groups that against vaccine, or they have some hidden agenda, they'll definitely will produce negative things. So even fake things, even they can create something out of nothing against this vaccine. And these findings must almost similar when we compare to vaccine hesitancy all around the world from different group of researchers. Now, let us look at the COVID-19 pandemic. WHO had declared COVID-19 caused by severe acute respiratory coronavirus 2 SARS-CoV-2 as a pandemic on 11th of March 2020, and the Malaysian government has started the movement control order on the 18th of March 2020, and as one of the initiative to prevent the more massive outbreak of COVID-19. This is before the vaccine was introduced, and little that we know that this will become a pandemic and eventually will move to endemic phase. And initially, the government gave mass health education and promotion as a part of prevention. They did early detection, containment, screening, isolation, and quarantine practice. And in February 2021 only, recently this year, Malaysian government started the national COVID-19 immunization program. So, the vaccine introduced, or the vaccine introduced to Malaysia at the first stage of the vaccine program, and it was done in stages and various approaches. At the first stage, the first stage, it started with the healthcare workers. They give the vaccine to the healthcare workers and frontliners. Okay, Alhamdulillah, I get my vaccine in March 2021, very at the very early stage, and after that only elderly and patient with comorbidities, and followed by adult, and after mid-September, okay, they had announced to start to adolescent, started with the 18 years old, below 18, and then 17, and then way down up until 12 years old. So their aim is to protect the most vulnerable first, and then only the mass population. Alhamdulillah, USIM had contributed to this program. We opened up the Pusat Pemberian Vaksin, and at the peak of the program, we managed to vaccinate 3,000 plus individuals daily. And I think Dr. Waidah, the conference director, is one of the floor managers at the Pusat Pemberian Vaksin. Alhamdulillah, we can see that the trend of COVID-19 here in Negeri Sembilan is showing downward trends. The hospital admission less, and the ICU admission also less. And we are among the first in Peninsular Malaysia to go to the phase 3 of Pelan Pemulihan Negara. Alhamdulillah, Negeri Sembilan had been well controlled because of vaccine given, and we had aggressively promote vaccine to the people of Negeri Sembilan. Now, in Malaysia, the least registered and least vaccine rate is in Sabah, which is in the east of Malaysia, followed by Kelantan in West Malaysia. So I hope that I ask all of us to pray that people will accept vaccine, especially in the states whereby vaccine rate registration is still low. Okay, this is my study, and published recently, last month, okay, in August. So we collected data in December 2020. We found that in December 2020, 2020, okay, 62% of the population having poor knowledge on COVID-19 vaccine. This was before the program. And then however, even though their knowledge is poor, but willingness of getting vaccine in December 2020 is higher, and the younger age group and those with higher level of education more likely to get vaccinated.
Assalamualaikum doktor. Sorry
Ya.
interrupt. Boleh tak minta doktor zoom besar sikit slide sebab dia nampak kecil-kecil sikit dia punya size dia.
Oh ya ke?
Mungkin dekat
Right.
zoom ratio ke boleh 100% zooms ke?
Okay.
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 Okay doktor. Thank you.
Sorry.
Doktor. Boleh continue. Terima kasih.
Ingat full screen tadi. Okay. So alhamdulillah, thank you very much ya. Kalau nak cakap Arab sikit, macam presenter dengan moderator sebelum ni, syukran, alhamdulillah. Sikit je lah Alright, so question among the question given to the respondents were, in your opinion, okay, should the government provide the free COVID-19 vaccine to the high risk group? Okay, so yes, almost all 90% of them said yes. Okay, this was before the COVID-19 vaccine program started. We asked this. And eventually, alhamdulillah, the government gave us the vaccine for free. Okay, and many of us came forward and get vaccine, and even to foreigners, who work, who stayed in Malaysia also given for free. Okay, we give to everybody, because what we want is everybody to be safe, everybody to be protected. And then the factors to influence the decision to take COVID-19 vaccine is the effectiveness of the vaccine. Okay, this is another survey. Okay, another survey done in February. All right. So we did this as a follow-up on our previous survey. So we did this with the collaboration of Ministry of Health Malaysia, and Ministry of Health Malaysia did publicize this in their website as well. So we received more than 2,000 respondents for this study. And as you can see here, the knowledge increases, and the willingness to get vaccinated increase as well. Before this, in December, it was 64%, and now for the second study in February, it is 77%. And in fact, now we are going into our third study with the collaboration of Ministry of Health Malaysia and the Institute Tingkah Laku Kesihatan Malaysia. So today, yesterday, I counted the respondent for the study was about 3,000 something. Okay, we just started last month, so we had 3,000 respondents, and the percentage of willingness, or the percentage of vaccinated higher, more than 85%. Okay, that is still ongoing, but I can tell you a little bit about the study. It is not completed yet, but this study had been completed, and we are waiting for publication. Okay, what is vaccine hesitancy? Okay, when vaccine widely recognized by the medical community as, all right, sorry, okay, as the most effective intervention, and vaccine hesitancy is defined as delay or refusal in vaccine despite the availability of vaccine service. Means that the service is there, but they still not willing, not willing to sign up or to agree to get vaccine. I'm not saying that they are anti-vaccine, because anti-vaccine is an extreme phrase, extreme word to be used. They are not yet anti-vaccine because they don't do not say many negative things, or they don't publicize their interest, but they still hesitate. But this vaccine hesitancy can be turned into vaccine acceptance individual, no problem. Okay, it is influenced by factors such as complacency, convenience, and confidence of the vaccine. Let us see the result of the detailed result. Okay, these are the reason disagree to get vaccinated. One of that reason is the halal status. Number 7, halal status, and the content of the vaccine is in doubt. Even though like Prof mentioned just now, the Mufti had issue fatwa that said vaccine is permissible, vaccine can be taken, but there are still minorities of our community said that they still did not believe the Mufti, did not believe the content of the, probably because of they read somewhere from the internet, it is said haram and contain porcine and cannot be taken. So this is the pendapat mereka yang tidak setuju untuk menerima vaksin COVID-19 ya, because vaksin ini ialah vaksin yang baru dan dihasilkan dengan segera. Dia takut untuk mengganggu DNA dan tidak mempercayai pengeluaran vaksin. Dia tak percaya dengan China, dia tak percaya dengan Rusia, tapi berbanding dengan Amerika mungkin dia okey ya. Dan kerana ujian klinikal tidak dijalankan dengan sepatutnya, China juga menjadi punca merebak COVID-19 ya. But for this status halal and haram, kerana mengandungi bahan tidak halal, female 45 years old said, mengandungi kandungan yang mempunyai unsur syubha dan haram seperti janin dan babi. Even though the Mufti had issued fatwa and the vaccine dikhawatiri, so they feel that anxious ataupun not believe in the halal status of the vaccine, and they said that imunisasi semula jadi lebih baik. Kalau semula jadi, it is not imunisasi ya. Imunisasi ni is an active process kan, diberikan immunization. Kurang yakin dengan bahan, takut mempunyai kesan sampingan, mempunyai agenda lain yang kita tak tahu. Dicipta oleh orang barat dan bukan Islam. Yang ini saya ada disclaimer, wallahu alam. Okay, so this is more it is haram, toxic, no vaccine, stupid. So it is from the response. So we took it 100%. That's stupid also in that particular response. Bahan dalam vaksin diragukan, ragu, perlu disahkan selamat, and then perlu difatwakan. Fatwa had been out already. Okay, actually it is there, but depend. Internet again depend on where they search and the keyword they search. Ada kes kematian selepas ambil vaksin. Kandungan dalam vaksin itu mengandungi nano microchip. Okay, nano microchip. It is a small piece of chip, nano size. Kemungkinan cacat. Tidak tahu status bahan. Okay, they also disbelieve in the use of vaccine. They want to still eat the sunnah food, lebih yakin dengan Allah, and one of them, female 35 years old, said that I'm anti-vaccine, okay, anti-vaccination. Vaksin ni tak boleh percaya, karut dan menipu. Allah ciptakan manusia sebaik makhluknya. Many responses. I spent days looking at these responses, 2,000 responses, and I select the best. Okay, and very entertaining. In fact, kalau mati tetap mati. Okay. So they said hidden agenda, conspiracy theory, teori agenda Illuminati, agenda Dajjal, konspirasi dari kerajaan. Okay, the government. Alright. So this result, I presented this result to Ministry of Health Malaysia, and this result were brought to the Minister of Health and the DG of Health, and they know the result, and they mentioned in several their press conference, they mentioned this study done by us in USIM, and the result as well. Okay, those who agree to get vaccinated, they said that it is a religious obligation, kerana agama yang mewajibkan ataupun menyuruh kita. It is my duty, my religious obligation, fardu kifayah, fatwa from mufti, Islamic scholars. Okay, they want to prevent the pandemic, and Islam also wants this. It is their responsibility to help the Muslim. It is qada and qadar of Allah, and Islam mengajar kita untuk mengelakkan dari mudarat yang lebih besar. Ini semua adalah keperluan kritikal, prinsip maqasid syariah. These are the reason among those who agree to get vaccinated. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so suggestion, they wanted mufti Islamic scholars in Malaysia check the halal aspect and share the findings. It had been done actually in February, and ensure it is halal and safe. It was this one had made to public knowledge already, and perbanyakan maklumat. Okay, ketua-ketua masyarakat, pemimpin agama mesti maklumat pada orang awam, dan iklan di TV awam juga perlu untuk promosi vaksin. Panggil pendakwa. Okay, this actually had been done by the government. All of this. And is this halal haram issue same worldwide? Yes, it is the same. If we can, I look through papers from Bangladesh, from India, even the study among the migrants, the minority Muslim in the UK and the Europe, they also had this same issue of halal and haram regarding COVID-19 vaccine, and other associated factors of vaccine hesitancy, because the people who promoted the bad things about the vaccine, they have their own hidden agenda. They did sell food that they said can cure COVID-19 or can help to boost the immune system. They had been anti-vaccine for a while, and now it is the time for them to make their not knowledge, but their stand known to others, and most of them had this agenda, and you'll be amused and amazed at the same time. Some of them are actually from respected people from with a good education background. It is those who influence people not to get vaccinated. Correct, and even in Malaysia. So this is my conclusion. Reason for vaccine hesitancy, multifactorial, not limited to vaccine COVID-19, and halal status is one of the issue. Okay, if we look at the childhood vaccine as well, one of the issue is still the halal status, main concern. Even though Islamic scholars worldwide had said that this vaccine permissible and encouraged, and we need the vaccine to protect us from getting the disease or from getting severe disease. Yes, and scholars, Muslim scholars, scientists, academician, the head of village, ketua kampung, kepala desa, pak lurah dan sebagainya plays an important role to promote vaccine. Okay, with that, I thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, Masya Allah, our presenter, Professor Madya Dr. Abdul Khair, presented on time, ya, Masya Allah. Okay, thank you very much for Professor Madya Dr. Muhammad Zulkhairi. We have a 3 point. Vaccine program Malaysia based on what has, and second point, history of vaccine in Malaysia, still different view of community, and 3, all issues of vaccine related to purpose of Syariah. Al-Luqah fi Malaysia alal asas siha al-alamiyah, wasani at-tarikh, tarikh al-Luqah fi Malaysia يعني ما زال يعني على آراء مختلفة لدى المجتمع. والثالث أن القضايا المنتشرة في لقاح اللقاح في ماليزيا يعني لابد ينظر إلى المقاصد الشرعية. والله أعلم. هذا فقط يعني ثلاث نقاط التي استطعنا أن نأخذها يعني. So inshallah we will go to first speaker. So now inshallah member of this room, this seminar, we are about to continue our session. So now we would like to invite our speaker from Fakultas Farmasi Universitas Airlangga Indonesia, yang terhormat Dr. Abdul Rahim, to deliver his speech which titled The Readiness of Pharmacists in Pharmaceutical Industry to Produce Halal Pharmaceutical Products in Indonesia. Please welcome Pak Alai Tafadhal Mashkura. Silakan Pak.
Yeah. I want to share my slide, but I cannot. Oke. Syukron ila Raisul Muhawarah Ustadz Setiawan. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wa bihi nasta'inu ala umuri dunya waddin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajmain. Amma ba'du. Hadratul kiram, Profesor Irwan Muhammad Zubri, Director of Institute Fatwa and Halal, University Science Islam Malaysia. Hadratul kiram, Profesor Junaidi Khatib, SSI, PhD, Dean of Fakultas Farmasi Universitas Airlangga, and Hadratul kiram, Dr. Wahidah Ismail, the director of this webinar. Alhamdulillah, nahnu nashkur ilallah, labudda alaina nashkur ilallah, liannahu fi hadal munasabah yumkinana an nawajjah ba'duna al-ba'd bisayaqatil manaqasah hawalal dawa'il halal fil Indonesia atau fil Malaysia. I want to speak my topic, my maudu is the readiness of pharmacists in the pharmaceutical industry to produce halal pharmaceutical product in Indonesia. Okay, yes.
Ya, oke, Pak.
Okay. I will start my speaking by many ayat of firman Allah, that is A'udzubillah minasyaitonirrajim, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, walladzi khalaqalakum ma fil ardi jami'ah wa aidan wa yuhillu lakumut thayyibat wa yuharrimu alaihim haba'ith. Wa aidan ya ayyuhan nas qulu mimma fil ardi halalan thayyibah wa la tattabi'u khutuwatis syaitan innahu lakum aduwwum mubin. That is the main of all of firman Allah in Holy Quran, that our God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he created something on the earth for human, and human are always to eat whatever is on the earth that is lawful and good. The meaning, we must eat the halalan thayyibah of food, and Allah forbids human to eat unclean food, and it's not good for human health. Usually, exactly, the haram of the food is very little, maybe just three sources. For example, fox and carcass and the animal that slaughtered without the name of Allah. But in this time, in the height of technology, from the fork, many kind of the food, many kind of derivative of food, of fork can be made by many kind of food and many kind of devices, and maybe used to be a part of the medicine. So this is be careful for us to eat food and take the medicine. That is for example of the haram and subhat, maybe in surrounding of the us every time and every day we can meet it, we can meet them from the folk and derivative of folk. For example, medicine, water, and the other cakes and the other devices and accessories that can be found every day. That's it, the gelatin case from bone powder, and the last to be gelatin. And I don't know that bone usually and mostly from bone of frog. It is very dangerous for us to eat to take medicine, usually gelatin from bone of frog. It's like the hadis Rasulullah from Abu Darda. He said, actually, the messenger of Allah, Prophet Muhammad said, actually Allah has sent down a disease and a cure for every disease. So seek treatment and don't seek treatment with what is forbidden. The meaning, we don't seek treatment with haram medicine. Halal pharmaceutical product needs. Halal pharmaceutical product can be defined as the medicine that come from halal material, which can be sourced from the plant, animal, organic, or non-organic substances, starting from the process of preparation, production, to extraction according to the rules in Islam. Besides that, the halalness of pharmaceutical product is also determined by the process production, packaging, storage, distribution, and service. and also it is not harmful and has good quality. The meaning the medicine must halalan thayyiban. Halal certification of pharmaceutical product is needed to eliminate consumer doubt in consuming this product. The word needs for halal product including food, cosmetic, pharmaceutical services, and other product will continue to be increased along with the increase of Muslim population globally. Today, the trend of halal product is not only developing in countries where the population is predominantly Muslim, but non-Muslim countries are increasingly interested in halal product. In those countries, halal is considered to be the benchmark for guaranteeing food safety and quality. The story of halal and regulation in Indonesia, the first time the halal labeling of food product in Indonesia has been started since 1976 by the Ministry of Health. All food and beverage containing pork or their derivative must be verified and identity that the food contain pork. This is regulated in the decree of the Minister of Health of the Republic of Indonesia. The second event proven in 1988, a researcher from Universitas Brawijaya Malang reported that the several food and beverage products circulating in the community were indicated to contain pork ingredient. This incident made the Muslim community in Indonesia panic. In order to reduce public concern about the circulating of flood in Indonesia lemak babi in 1988, the Indonesian Ulama Council make the institution, the name is LP-POM MUI in Indonesia, Lembaga Pengkajian Pangan, Obat-obatan, dan Makanan, was formed to study the Institute for the Study of Food, Medicine, and Cosmetic. This institution was established based on Majelis Ulama Indonesia Decree in 1989, which meant that was the conduct inspection of product in circulation in carry out halal certification. In its implementation, MUI was only able to issue a halal certificate in 1994, 5 years after the formation of the LP-POM MUI exists. The certificate was issued based on the result of the inspection conducted by LP-POM. Halal certification carried out by LP-POM MUI is still voluntary. That is, only companies that wish to certify are actively registering their product to be certified. At this time, by food, drink, medicine, and cosmetic that are halal, that are certificate halal, have received a positive response from the consumer community, and the demand of the majority of Indonesian for obligatory halal product circulating in Indonesia, then law number of 33 of 2013 2014 concerning guarantee halal product which require all food. The meaning mewajibkan bahwa semua produk yang beredar di Indonesia wajib bersertifikasi halal. This is the law Undang-Undang Nomor 33 Tahun 2014. The executor of certification, which is originally carried out by IFFAH MUI, had switched to the halal product guarantee agency. In Indonesia, BBJPH, Badan Penyelenggara Jaminan Produk Halal, based on the mandate of this law. From the start, halal certification in Indonesia has involved pharmaceutical product, namely drug and cosmetic, Bonsin being implemented by IFFAH MUI and currently switching to BPJPH, Badan Penyelenggara Jaminan Produk Halal. How about opportunity of halal pharmaceutical product? The growing of number Muslim population globally is a very promising market opportunity for the halal industry. Halal is accepted as a quality standard that is applied to the supply and manufacture of processed pharmaceutical and other health products. For the Muslim consumer, choosing halal medicine is a religious requirement based on Islamic law. That is the perintah agama. So we must choose medicine is halal, the halal medicine. Halal is an opportunity for the pharmaceutical industry to build trust from the public. Why is halal medicine accepted? First, this medicine don't cause death for the consumer, fully in accordance with the Sharia law, which obligates all Muslims to seek treatment with halal medicine. Second, these medicines are considered to be the more transparent in the informing the content in them, because during the halal certification process, a detailed audit of all ingredients is carried out. Third, halal medicine is better than non-halal because of halal medicine must meet the safety, quality, and efficacy requirement before being certified halal. Fourth, halal medicine will eliminate the notion that halal products have lower quality than non-halal products. How about the challenge? The main challenge faced by the halal industry is the lack of workforce who understand the requirement related to Sharia and its application to the practice of the halal industry, especially pharmacists in industry who practice industry. They must continue their ability about halal knowledge. Most of the active ingredients are imported from the other countries, mostly from China, which is difficult to trace the halalness of the active ingredient. Maybe more than just active ingredient, maybe the other component they still import from the other country. Another challenges faced by the halal industry is the need to put in place a well-regulated accreditation and globally accepted halal management system. It is very necessary to be accepted in the other country. And the other challenge is preferring halal auditor who understand technical matter related to pharmacy as well as understand the halal concept. Advocacy is needed to educate consumer that halal medicine have the same quality and even higher than non-halal medicine. There is the need for halal branding for Muslim and non-Muslim consumer regarding halal medicine as a healthy product. Halal pharmaceutical certification in Indonesia, since law number of 33 of 2014 concerning halal product guarantee was issued. Then 5 years after that, all consumer products circulating in Indonesia must be halal certified. This law is effective as of October 2019. For pharmaceutical product, tolerance is still given gradually over 5 years. Several pharmaceutical products whose raw material come from Indonesia, halal certification has begun, including herbal medicine. Even in the province of East Java, regional regulation number 6 of 2020 has been made, which require traditional medicine to be certified halal. Halal certification is determined by 3 institutions. That is Halal Product Guarantee Agency in Indonesia, BPJPH, Badan Penyelenggara Jaminan Produk Halal. And the second Halal Inspection Agency in Indonesia, LPH, Lembaga Pemeriksa Halal. And the last, Indonesia Ulama Council, MUI. They have different roles. BPJPH is a government institution that is tasked with managing the halal certification process and issuing halal certificate in accordance with Law 33 of 2014. And LPH in charge of auditing material, production process, storage, production to companies at the request of BPJPH. And the last, Indonesia Ulama Council give a fatwa on whether a product is halal or not after auditing by LPH. That is the scheme MUI, LPH, and BPJPH. Halal certification process, the beginning from the company submit an application to BPJPH, and then BPJPH assign the selected LPH to audit the applicant company. LPH conduct audit on company according to BPJPH order. Then LPH report the results of the expedition to BPJPH, while the MUI through the Fatwa Commission determine the halal fatwa from the results of the audit of certified product. Finally, BPJPH provides a halal certificate for the proposed product if the product is halal according to MUI. The role of pharmaceutical industrial pharmacies, the halalness of medicine is also determined by the pharmacists who practice in industrial pharmacies, in pharmaceutical industry. The role of pharmacists is very important to determine the halalness of pharmaceutical product through they select and prepare medicinal raw material, carry out the production process, ensure quality, and ensure that the drug produced meet the requirement according to the applicable standard, including their halalness. Thus, in addition, to determining product quality, pharmacists play a role in determining the halalness of drug. When law number of 33 of 2014 was implemented in 2019, many people were not sure that the pharmaceutical industry was ready to produce halal drug and carry out halal certification. So we are interested to conducting research on analysis of pharmacists' knowledge and attitude in the pharmaceutical industry of halal certification and their readiness to produce halal medicine. The results of the study, that slide, in slide, the pharmacists who practice in pharmaceutical industry, majority is female, more than 69%. And the age of pharmacists less than or equal to 35 years is majority, more than 65%. And duration of practice less or than 10 years, less or than equal to 10 years, that is majority, that is 84%. This is a consequence of the government regulation number 51 of 2009 concerning pharmaceutical practice, which require the pharmaceutical industry have to a minimal 3 pharmacists. In fact, the pharmaceutical industry mostly have more than 3 pharmacists. How about the ownership of pharmaceutical industry? Majority is domestic investment. In Indonesia, PMDN, pemilik modal dalam negeri, that's it more than 24%. How about a knowledge of respondent? From 260 pharmacists, the majority knowledge is low. Knowledge about halalness, knowledge about halal, majority is low, more than 48%. How about attitude? Attitude, almost all of the respondents said the agree, more than 90%. And readiness also, almost of the respondents said they are ready to produce the halal product, the halal medicine in pharmaceutical industry. That is more than 95%. By analysis, there are significant correlation, attitude and readiness of product and certification of medicine in pharmaceutical industry. Why the attitudes respond more than 90%? There was several reasons, including the regulation has been established since 2014, which became effective starting October 2019. It is impossible to reject regulations that are already effective in Indonesia, and the demand for halal medicine is increasing in line with the number of hospitals that declare as Sharia hospital. In Indonesia, many hospitals was declared a Sharia hospital. So they need the halal medicine. With so many requests for halal medicine, the pharmaceutical industry must adjust the condition for producing halal drug, otherwise it will die by itself because the product are needed by customer.
Oke, Pak. Maaf Pak Abdul Rahim, tinggal 5 menit ya Pak ya. Oke, terima kasih.
Oke. This is a consequence of prevailing law and regulation in which all industry have to prepare themselves to carry out certification and produce halal medicine. My limitation of this study, the author didn't conduct an audit on each pharmaceutical industry, but rather collected data through questionnaire answer given to respondent. Conclusion, it can be concluded the pharmacist knowledge regarding halal certification on drug is still lacking. The attitude of respondent toward halal certification show that more than 90% and readiness more than 95%. That is my speech. That all. Thank you very much. Alafu minkum. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you for Honorable Dr. Abdul Rahim for wisdom and knowledge information sharing. So saya minta maaf sebelumnya, saya terlupa baca CV tadi ya. Insyaallah I will read the CV. Dr. Abdul Rahim, Dr. Randes, Master Kesehatan Pak ya, apoteker. Okay, and education background, Bachelor Pharmacist and Master Education in Public Health, as well as doctoral education in Public Health are taken in Universitas Airlangga Surabaya. CV ringkas ini lah ya saya baca ya. Kalau saya baca semua banyak. Oke, so insyaallah Bapak Abdul Rahim banyak mempunyai publication and he has research and publication in journal. Okay. Wa istimbat our conclusion from Bapak Dr. Abdul Rahim. يتكلم عن عناصر المستخدمة في قنازير using element of pigs. الثاني يتكلم عن التاريخ يتعلق بالقانون في halal farmasi in Indonesia, LPPOM MUI. History of regulation of halal pharmaceutical by LPPOM and also UI. Asalis halal and also takallama Bapak Abdul Rahim and halal processing in Indonesia. Okay, فقط هذا يعني فيما يتعلق بالمقدم الثالث. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the last presentation, inshallah. So before I invite, I want to read CV Bapak Hilmi Yusuf, Associate Professor, also from University Airlangga. Education background BA S1 daripada farmasi ya, dari farmasi Universitas Airlangga, profesional program of profesional Universitas Airlangga, bidang farmasi apoteker, and master Universitas and Groningen Netherlands, medical pharmaceutical science, Doctora Queen University Belfast, United Kingdom, Pharmaceutical Science, PhD. Okay, tanpa membuang masa, I want to invite to Bapak yang terhormat Dr. Hilmi Yusuf, Senior Lecturer in Fakultas Farmasi Universitas Airlangga Indonesia, to deliver his talk entitled Indonesia Halal Pharmaceutical Insurance System. Please welcome. Tafadhol. Mashkura.
Thank you, Dr. Setiawan, for your
Yeah.
very kind introductions. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. I would say this is a great honor for me to have this opportunity to participate in this webinar about Fatwa and Halal Pharmaceuticals. And I would like to thank University Science Islam Malaysia, USIM, and Universitas Erlangga for the collaborations in arranging this webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, we have seen the presentations from today's presenters who are talking about halal vaccines and other halal related issues, where we learn a lot of issues from them, especially about how community perceive the halal status of a new product. Actually, we can say that this is a good sign that the awareness are present in the community, meaning that our society are not always taken for granted everything that's launched to the market, even though they are endorsed by the governments. I think such awareness implies that the consciousness about halal status as still major concerns in our society. All right, my today presentation is about Indonesia halal assurance systems, and hopefully by the end of the presentations we can share common best practices, especially from Indonesia and Malaysia in performing halal assurance activities. And this is my outline of presentations. I would begin with the introduction to halal certification in Indonesia, and then we will go further into halal assurance systems or HAS criteria. What are there that companies have to be comply with, and last summary and conclusion about the presentations. All right, just for some terminologies, we have authorized halal certification body in Indonesia, as the previous presenter have mentioned before, that we have here LPPOM, or the Assessment Institute for Foods, Drugs and Cosmetics, their task is doing the assessment and halal audit, and during the audit, the LPPOM will compile a report and then send to the Indonesian Council of Ulama under the Fatwa Committee. Then they will study the report of the audits and then send recommendation to the BPH, or the Halal Product Assurance Organizing Agency. This is the one body under the Ministry of Religious Affairs, which is authorized to issue the legal halal certificate based on the MUI atau Majelis Ulama Indonesia recommendations. So LPPOM of the Assessment Institute is under the Indonesia Council of Ulama, and in Indonesia we have other assessment institutes, two other assessment institutes, not only LPPOM, but in this case, since I'm member of the LPPOM regional office, and I mentioned here only one that under the Indonesian Council of Ulama. Halal assurance systems is a management system actually to maintain the halal status of products that have obtained halal certificate. Means that if a product want to be guaranteed or given a halal certificate, they have to prove that management systems are there to assure the halalness of the product being produced. Then there's also halal certificate issued by ME. It's actually a written fatwa from Indonesian Ulama Council. It stated that the products are in accordance with Islamic Sharia or not. But again, this certificate is then issued to the BPJPH, be legally issued by the BPJPH. This required to obtain halal labeling on the packaging of the product from the BPJPH or the government authorities. Why halal certificate is required is to assure that the halal status and reassure consumers, because most of our population in Indonesia, around 88% of the total populations are Muslims, and then the rest are non-Muslims. So we are really have a very important role here to make sure that all the Muslim populations, they consume halal things, halal products. And also the halal certifications is obliged to continuation of the halal production process by the manufacturer, and this is can be guaranteed if they have halal assurance systems established in their company. Just for some backgrounds, we have here data from country members of Organization of Islamic Cooperations, or OIC. You can see here that Malaysia and Indonesia share a big percentage here, both for exporters as well as the importers. And you can see here that the total percentage of these 5 countries, consumes more than 50% of the total exporters from the total OIC country members. And then it means that we do concern about the halal products as exporters as well as importers. And if we look at Indonesian data, exports data in pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, and food products to OIC countries since 2015 to 2020. You can see here that the biggest products, the majority of the products are as food being exported by Indonesian enterprises, and then followed by cosmetics and pharmaceuticals. And if you see here the trends during 2015-2020, there is a significant decrease of the Indonesian exports for cosmetics and pharmaceuticals. We are not about to discuss about why this is decreasing, but we do concern about the number of the exports by Indonesian enterprises to the OIC countries. So we have to guarantee that all the products are halal or obtaining halal certificates. But in the last 2 years or 3 years, we see some increasing trends in pharmaceuticals as well as in food, but still decreasing in cosmetics. So again, this is just an overview that makes the governments as well as the Majelis Ulama Indonesia or Indonesian Council of Ulama really concerns about the halal status of products being exported. So we have reasons why halal assurance system must be implemented in the production facilities. There are several reasons for this. First, in terms of the company wants to have valid halal certificates, they have to show that they are complying with the HAS implementations, and that halal certificates are only valid for 2 years. This is to make sure that the practices are there. It's not only on paper, but really implemented in the company. And then, as already mentioned, that as a Muslim, we have to consume halal things, and to make it sure that the halal status of products are there, then a company has to apply halal assurance systems. And we see trend in the global market. There are an increasing market of halal products. More and more people are interested in halal products instead of non-halal products for many reasons. They see the hikmah, the good aspects of consuming halal products. The saying "you are what you eat." Maybe at some point it affects people's psychologically, that if they consume a good food or good products, and it determines what they are. And then another reason is that the product development in the very rapid changing technology here. Some genetic engineering products are there, and then some biological products also need to be studied further to determine whether it's comply with the Sharia law or not. Supply chain management in global markets also concern that we have to guarantee that during the productions and the distributions comply with the guaranteeing the halal status of the product. So, what a company should do to obtain the halal certificate from legal bodies? First, they have to recognize the scope and business processes. So, what are they doing? What are they needed to make the products? From raw materials, processing, the facilities, the flow of materials, and also the equipments, as well as distributions to reach the consumers. Then they have also need to understand the HAS criteria to fully understand what is required, and then especially knowledge about the halal. Then based on that, they will understand more about the criteria, why it has to be like that. And then they are required to create HAS manuals and documents according to the scope of the business process. Then applying the HAS or implementing the HAS. Then they have to control and monitor. Also, they have to evaluate what they've been done in the production line, for example, to produce the products, the halal products. In order to obtain or to produce halal products, of course, halal productions is a joint responsibility. It's not about one person's responsibility, but it is everybody's responsibility. All staffs that are involved in the productions. They are actually responsible for the halalness of the materials. For example, if we say something about total quality management in halal productions, it should covers the from the policies being set up by the company, and then the halal policy is not only a written statements, but it has to be implemented by appointing halal management structures that is the people who are responsible to establish the halal activities, halal implementations. And then they have to communicate what is has actually. They have to have training and socializations to improve knowledge, skills, and also the awareness of the every staff in the company. And selected materials must be absolutely halal, and they have to have or they have to show a good management review. And in this review, they have to have some sort of action plans of discrepancies they have found during the internal audit, for examples. So this is some sort of introductions to getting to know more about the HAS criteria that is applied in Indonesia. So in general, HAS criteria, this is a requirement that must be met by the all company. Is halal products need to be certified. It involves actually procedures that have been established by the company. It is a written procedures that also has to be proven with some evidences. Procedures could be in the form of a SOP or standard operating procedures, group instructions, specifications, standards, schedules, internal memos, or other form of work guides that show to the auditors that all the activities are monitored, are well guided, and then evaluated in systematic ways. And all of the procedures also what we call this is not enough if you cannot prove or you cannot show any evidences that all these procedures are being implemented in the company. So some evidences, for example, records of the activities in the form of a checklist, logbooks, or plannings or reports that have been filled out. This sort of documents can be what's called it shown by the company to the auditors during the audit. What is the HAS criteria? In Indonesia, the halal assurance systems consists of 11 criteria. They are the halal policies, one is halal management team, trainings, materials, products, production facilities, and written procedure for critical activities, traceability, handling of non-conformance products, internal audit, and also management review. As long as a company can convince the auditors as well as the Fatwa Committee of the Majelis Ulama Indonesia, then there's a big chance that their product will be given a halal certificate. So we go to this criteria one by one. First is a halal policy. This is should be established by the top management in the form of written documents, and has to be disseminated to all common stakeholders, both for internal stakeholders as well as the external stakeholders. And this is a kind of written commitment that guarantee the company will consistently produce halal products according to the business processes. And the halal policies can be merged or written all together, integrated with other system policies. For example, if the companies, they have other policies regarding the product's quality or standards, then one standard related to halal can be part of this whole policies. Then should be disseminated to all stakeholders, and companies must show evidence that the disseminations already there. You can see that the companies evidences from training attendance, for examples, or some meetings, the briefing minutes, and then posters, or banners, or email lists, etc. And then halal policies is the first criteria in HAS. Then the second one is a management team that is responsible for the halal implementations in the productions. And this is a group of people who are responsible for the planning, implementation, evaluation, and improvement of HAS in the company. So it has to cover all parties that involved in the critical activities, and in the duty, responsibility, and authority of the halal management team must be clearly defined. The halal management team must be permanent employees and preferably a Muslim. That's not a must. It can be a non-Muslim staff, but they have to have competencies in halal aspects. This is an example of what halal management team looks like. For examples, you have a team leader, and then research and development team, casing team, quality control team, productions, warehouse, and quality assurance. So team leader, their jobs assuring the halalness of all materials. You have to disseminate the halal policies, and then handle non-conforming products, and etc. Research and development team, they may participate in the new material selections or new product developments. For processing team, they have to be aware of the halal materials being purchased, then how they request the material to suppliers to support that all the materials are guaranteed being halal. Quality control, they can conduct inspections of the incoming or arriving materials, whether it met the specifications or not. The production team, they ensure the production facilities meet the criteria, halal production process, cleanings, and traceability of the materials that is in direct contact with the production lines, equipment. The hosts are responsible for the proper storage and transportation, for example, and they have to make sure that there's no cross-contamination between the halal and non-halal products. and quality assurance. They can conduct internal audit, trainings, and management. So the halal management team, they have to have a certain competencies, which is shown by the certificate obtained from the HAS trainings, whether it is done in external or internal trainings. And then the management, top management also required to have a human resources development plan, then has training budget and preparation of production facilities. Third criteria is the trainings is required that company has to conduct internal trainings and also send the staff to join in external trainings about how halal assurance systems being implemented in company. And then the company must have procedures, conduct training for all these personnel, especially those involved in the critical activities, and also for the new employees, so that they have the awareness of halal status of all materials involved in the productions. External trainings must be attended by one of the halal management team at least once in 2 years. And for internal trainings, it's more frequent, at least once a year, but can be more if it is required. And the trainer must have past training before, whether it is external or internal trainings. And there's training materials, but it should be tailored to the business process and scope of the company, so that they really understand what should be performed in the company. And then the fourth criteria is materials. The materials include raw materials, additive, processing materials, packaging, and some other materials that contact with the main materials being produced. What's the criteria? You can classify these based on the origin of use. Is should not they should not be derived from pork or its derivative, common or its derivative, and so on, as mentioned before by the previous presenters. And then also the criteria based on the documents, the advocacy of documents, supporting documents that showing that the halalness of the materials being used in the productions. Then there's also a mechanism for monitoring the validity period of material documents. Actually, the materials can be categorized to critical and non-critical. But here you can see that the critical is subdivided into two criteria, sub-criteria. Critical and must be halal certified, and critical but not halal certified. LP form, here we have a positive list. That is, if the materials being used in the productions are on the positive list, then they don't need to what's called this submit documents proof that the materials is halal. For critical and must be halal certified, for example, all materials derived from slaughtered animals like gelatin, lichen, beef powder, or beef glycerol. Then complex materials like flavor, premix vitamin, fragrance, seasoning, etc. For material that is critical but not halal certified, it's not on the two above category materials, but for examples, like flavors, emulsifiers, gelatins, etc.
Maaf Pak Hilmi,
Yeah,
tinggal 5 menit Pak.
yes,
Oke,
yeah.
oke,
For
kasih.
materials, you have to show the a mechanism that is used to monitor the validity period of the material documents. The fifth criteria is the product. It should be there's some sub-criteria regarding the product. The names, the sensory calcium profile, product shapes, brands, content, and package or reliable products. The product name, for example, should not imitate the harams or something is not comply with the Sharia. So, for example, some beer or something. The name of the product contains a name that is really totally haram in Sharia. Product shape, for example, they are not allowed to have a shape that is some things haram like pigs, dogs. I think I can go on to the production facilities. That facilities has to be guaranteed it's free from haram facilities, whether it is in direct contact or indirect contact with the materials. Includes buildings, rooms, machines, and equipments, and main process for the storage, etc. It has to guarantee that no cross contaminations. In case of halal facilities used for sharing facilities with non-halal products, and it has to be guaranteed that there is free of pork on this party. Then the seventh criteria is procedures for critical activities. So critical activities in here may include the selection of materials, casing of materials, arriving materials, inspections, product formulations, cleaning facilities, storage and handling of material products, and transportations. The written procedures should be there by the companies that implementations of critical activity in the production chains are anticipated that would affect the status of the halal products. This is already mentioned. Then the eighth criteria is traceability. Has to prove that all the materials used in the productions can be traced status of the halalness of the material from the manufacturers. Then handling of non-conformance products, procedures must be established. Deal with non-conformance products. If the products have been halal certified but accidentally produced from unapproved materials, then the company must show procedures how to handle with these products, whether they will be taken from the market or not. The 10th is an internal audit. Has to be done by the companies, make sure that the HAS criteria established and implemented in the companies, and then they have to submit a report every 6 months to make it sure that the implementations are there. And then last, it is a management review to see or to response to the result of the audit. So the company has to evaluate effectiveness of HAS implementations, and then they have to have certain action plans how to deal with the discrepancies. All the evidences of the reviews must be documented and then shown to the auditors. In summaries, has some benefits. It guarantees the halalness of the product in the period of the halal certificate. It rise internal awareness in maintaining halal status of the product, where the company has guidelines to the sustainability of the halal production process, and it provide customer satisfaction. Also prevent cases of non-halal products but certified accidentally as halal products. And last but not least, provide peacefulness to the community, especially for the Muslim populations. I think it's all my presentations today. Just commentary slides to show you procedures approved by the form in case company wants to have their products halal certified. Thank you very much, and I'll let the moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you to Honorable Dr. Hilmi Yusuf for the very informative sharing just now. Alhamdulillah. Wa istinbat min kalamihi yakni yata'allaq bi al-qadaya fil qanun halal labudda ala i'timadi min MUI Majlis Ulama Indonesia wa LPPOM ya. Wasani export of Indonesia pharmaceutical and cosmetic and food to OIC country wa salis halal quality management wajadna al-istinbat huna al-qadaya muta'alliq bi qanun al-halal yakni certified based on the MUI and LPPOM. Wa export yata'allaq bi at-tasdir minal adwiyah wa mustahdarat al-tajmil wal atimah ila yakni ad-dual al-arabiyah khususan yakni fi UIC wa salis fi idaratil jaudati li sinaatil halal. Wallahu alam. Now, insyaallah we open Q&A. So saya buka lah untuk soal jawab. Well, before Q&A, I want to thanks for all speaker who has presented their sharing with us, member of this Zoom. It is now the time for answering your doubt and question. Oke, so siapa yang nak bertanya dipersilahkan. Maybe you can read in the question can be read in chatting room ya. Oke, ya mungkin saya dahulu dengan chatting room ya. Question for Dr. Khairi ya, Dr. Khairi, what is your opinion with regard to COVID-19 vaccine for children? And second question, how safe in the COVID-19 vaccine for the children? Are there study data to support the efficacy and safety of the use of COVID-19 vaccine on the children? Oke, dipersilakan Dr. Khairi, tafadhol mashkurah lil ijabah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the question. Terima kasih atas soalan-soalan yang dikemukakan. Saya rasa ada dua soalan yang ditanyakan ini. The first one is opinion on COVID-19 vaccine, and the other one is still opinion on COVID-19 vaccine for children, and the second one is still on the children, but the data, the effectiveness and the efficacy of the COVID-19 vaccine for children. All right, so to answer the question, I would combine both question,
And my opinion is the ultimate goal to this issue is to get everyone vaccinated. Means that everyone should be vaccinated for us to achieve herd immunity. But the time is yet to come for the young ones. Means that belum masanya lagi untuk anak-anak ini diberikan vaksin. Namun sebenarnya untuk mendapatkan imuniti kelompok, ya, kita perlu memberikan vaksin ini kepada seramai yang mungkin. Right. So why this is not yet being done? All right, because the impact of the vaccine, especially the mRNA, the Pfizer vaccine, is not released yet. It is not being the report of assessment is not out yet. It is said that probably end of this year, the safety data, the efficacy data will be out. And I think Sinovac had published, the company from China, the Sinovac had published a statement that their vaccine is safe for children. All right, but the efficacy data is not out yet. Okay. Let us look at the bigger issue or in bigger situation. The aim of vaccination is to protect the vulnerable, to protect those who can proceed to category 3, 4, or 5 of having severity in COVID-19. Means that we want to protect the one that can be affected badly. Maksudnya kita perlu melindungi mereka yang boleh terkena teruk ataupun bisa terkena teruk sekiranya mereka ini terjangkit COVID-19. And the research or studies or even our clinical data shown that the one who are affected badly is the old age, mereka yang dalam golongan warga tua, ataupun kita sebut di sini warga emas, the one with comorbidities, they have sakit jantung, they have diabetes, they have kidney disease and all. And among children, if they are infected with COVID-19, the symptoms, the severity is less compared to the elderly. Thus, to justify this and to give opportunity for more people among the vulnerable group to get vaccinated, it is wise that we give priority to the elderly and to adult population as compared to the younger population, as compared to the children. Sebab kita memberikan peluang untuk melindungi golongan rentan yang mungkin akan terkena jangkitan yang teruk. Sekiranya kita bandingkan dengan children, malahan data-data berkenaan dengan selamat atau tidak vaksin ini diberikan kepada anak-anak ini masih belum keluar lagi daripada syarikat-syarikat pengeluar vaksin ini. Saya rasa itu menjawab soalan, my opinion, and then the efficacy of COVID-19 and the safety of COVID-19 vaccine to be used among them. And to add more, on the 1st of September, our Minister of Health, YB Khairi Jamaluddin, announced that Malaysia has yet to decide. They are not deciding yet to cover children below 13 years old, even though they will wait for enough data, and according to these data, the safety data, and the dosage as well. It may be the same dose as adult or less dose. They are yet to study, and publish. Meanwhile, at the time being, pada waktu ini kita tumpukan untuk melindungi golongan dewasa dan kita telah mulakan pendaftaran untuk golongan remaja berumur 12 hingga 15, 12 to 15 to get vaccinated starting from 15th of September this year, insyaAllah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I hope this answer the question.
Okay, thank you very much for Dr. Khair. Please welcome any question for our speaker. Yang lainnya boleh tanya di sini ya, boleh langsung lah ya. Kita akan buka sebab dalam chatting room dah kosong, tak ada soalan. So saya bukalah open for the all audience yang nak bertanya kepada speaker, sama ada daripada USIM ataupun UNAIR ya. Okey, silakan siapa?
Dr. Setiawan ada soalan di chat box.
Oh, cepat. Okay.
Satu.
Okay, Dr. Setiawan,
Ya.
saya ada satu soalan ni ya.
Yang mana ke? Okay.
Yang ni dihantar kepada saya.
Okey, baik. Okey, silakan.
In Malaysia, FMCG products, food products, traditional products, including OTC products can have halal logo on their pack. However, the NPRA, National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Agency, do not allow halal logo on controlled poison and vaccine product. Why is that so? JAKIM and NPRA should encourage halal logo and all products to encourage Muslim patients to take medicine. So, tu soalannya. Mungkin panel boleh respon.
Soalan kepada siapa nih? Semua ke?
Tidak dinyatakan kepada siapa.
Okey, mungkin kepada speakers semua.
Mungkin Dr. Zulhairi boleh respon.
Okay, kalau saya punya respon it is not I have to look back at the law and the guideline and also the requirement of this product to be issued the halal certification. I think the best person to answer this is one is the certifying body, means that from JAKIM, and the other one is from NPRA as well, because I'm not representing both bodies. But if you ask my personal opinion, I'll say that it is good if this logo can be displayed, but the reason and the why it is not on, or it is not permissible to be on that product, the NPRA and the JAKIM maybe can answer this. But it is good. It is good if we can have it. Probably other panel or from Indonesia, you can share your country. Is it the logo of Majlis Ugama Indonesia? Is it can be on the product pharmaceutical product?
Oke, silakan Pak Hilmi. Mungkin Pak Hilmi tadi ya banyak kepada manajemen. Product management ya.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the questions, please? Is it, if I'm not wrong, is it about the utility of logo, halal logo on the products, right? Or something else? Sorry.
Okay, I read again. In Malaysia, FMCG products, food products, traditional products, including OTC products, can have halal logo on their pack. However, the NPRA do not allow halal logo on controlled poison and vaccine product. Why is that so? JAKIM and NPRA should encourage halal logo on all products to encourage Muslim patients to take medicine. Yes.
Yeah. Actually, thank you very much. Actually, the logo is not what's called this, obliged for the company to put it on their products. So it's optional for the company whether they want to put the halal logo on the products or not. But as long as they can declare that all the products already certified or obtain halal certificates from the our government bodies after being audited by the LPH or assessment institutes, and then have gone through studied by the Fatwa Committee of the Indonesia Ulama Council, and legally got the certificate from the VPH from the Ministry of Religious Affairs. Then it's up to them to put it on the products online. So it doesn't mean that if one product they don't have a halal logo on their products that it's not halal, or vice versa. It's my part. That's for certain. But for foods, I think all the producers in Indonesia, they tend to put the halal logo on their products, because people are cautious more on foods instead of drugs so far. So it's psychologically, I think it affects the way manufacturers behaviors on this matter. Hopefully this answers the questions.
Okay, thank you, Pak.
Setiawan, can I add something?
Okay, boleh. Okay.
Just
Silakan,
I'm not an expert in halal procedure and whatnot, but I think in Malaysia, halal logo is not an obligation to the manufacturers or companies to get it. It is an optional. So in this case, I think if the company, I mean the pharmaceutical company, want to get halal for their marketing, for their sale and whatnot, then it's up to them. And it is not an obligation. It's not an obligatory to them to apply and get a halal logo and put on their products. That's why we cannot force. There is no law which force the manufacturer to get a halal logo in every product of the company. I think that's my additional answer to that question. Thank you very much. If wrong, please correct me. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for Prof. Okay, Bapak Dr. Abdul Rahim.
Okay, I'm sorry, I will answer by Indonesian language.
Oke, boleh, bisa.
Jadi, kalau di Indonesia itu memang produsen itu tertarik untuk mencantumkan logo halalnya. Bahkan kadangkala tanpa melalui proses sertifikasi halal, kadangkala mencantumkan logo halal. Ini yang perusahaan-perusahaan yang agak nakal begitu ya, dalam bahasa kami agak nakal. Nah, tetapi memang karena memang semangatnya dari perusahaan untuk mencantumkan logo halal ya seperti itu kadangkala. Tetapi di Indonesia itu punya filter bahwa semua produk yang sudah melalui proses halal, sebelumnya melalui LPPOM MUI, kalau sekarang prosesnya sudah melalui BPJPH, maka sudah bisa dibaca di database di Indonesia, terutama kalau kemarin itu di LPPOM MUI, semua database bisa dilihat apa betul produk ini memang sudah tersertifikasi halal, bisa dilihat di situ. Jadi itulah. Nah, tetapi memang LPPOM ataupun pemerintah itu tidak mewajibkan untuk mencantumkan logo halalnya di produk yang sudah tersertifikasi halal. Akan tetapi itu memang masyarakat sendiri atau perusahaan sendiri yang bersemangat untuk mencantumkan logo halalnya kalau dia sudah tersertifikasi halal. Sehingga bisa dipastikan bahwa yang sudah bersertifikasi halal memasang logo halalnya. Sebaliknya, bisa saja ada perusahaan-perusahaan nakal yang tidak tersertifikasi halal juga ikut mencantumkan, tetapi bisa dicek di database-nya LPPOM. Nah, ini yang bisa kita lihat. Nah, yang lain lagi mungkin logo halalnya itu berbeda, bisa saja karena yang selama ini yang dikeluarkan oleh LPPOM MUI itu sudah standar logo halalnya, sehingga kalau berbeda itu masyarakat bisa saja curiga karena masyarakat sudah familiar dengan logo halal yang ada. Nah, terutama memang perusahaan-perusahaan yang tidak memungkinkan untuk melakukan sertifikasi halal tiba-tiba mencantumkan logo halalnya. Ini masyarakat biasanya sudah cukup familiar dengan begitu. Saya kira itu tambahan dari kami. Mohon maaf, saya harus menggunakan bahasa lokal. Terima kasih.
Oke, sama-sama Pak. Oke, terima kasih. So, ada apa-apa lagi untuk kita bagi sedikit peluang pada speakers?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I have one question that have sent to me personally.
Okay.
Maybe the question is suitable for Prof. Amir to answer it, which is, what is the fatwa law for those who do not want to be vaccinated because they are worried about the side effect that will happen to themselves, since they have seen in the media social about the cause of vaccine is death? That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I think as far as I know, there is no fatwa which allow the government to prosecute or take an action to those who refuse to take vaccine. There is no law. In fact, as I mentioned in my presentation about the decision of Fatwa MKI, National Committee Fatwa, it is just a fatwa which is ungazetted. Although it is consensusly agreed by all the muftis in Malaysia, until now I haven't heard that the fatwa has been gazetted for each state in Malaysia. So as I said before, if the fatwa is ungazetted, it cannot be, those who are against the fatwa cannot be taken into court or prosecuted in Mahkamah Syariah. Okay, so that's my understanding and my answer. So it is an encouraging to every Muslim to follow and abide by the fatwa. It is not a compulsory at this moment at the legal position of that. But for my personal opinion, in terms of Sharia, in terms of Islamic law under the usul fiqh method, it is an obligation for every Muslim to take vaccine due to the basis of the fatwa issued on this matter, based on the maqasid Sharia, based on the Al-Quran and Sunnah. To protect our life is part of the maqasid Sharia. The objective of Sharia is to protect your life. So I don't know why these or those who refuse to take vaccine maintain their position and their standing on not to take the vaccine. I think all the information in this country and all over the world, I think, mentioning about the importance of every single Muslim to take vaccine to protect their life, to protect those people around them, and even the community. themselves. So there is no legislation until now to prosecute those who refuse to take vaccine. Thank you. Hope to answer the question.
Thank you for speakers. Alhamdulillah. Thank you.